I'm Haley. I'm on the Spiral team. Um, and I'm going to be presenting a design challenge today around merchants. So just for some context, our team at Spiral and a lot of people in Bitcoin generally care deeply about making Bitcoin money. And so a big part of that is being able to use it like money, which means that you can buy things at the register. So, yeah. So, what's one of the problems that we're seeing like right now? Like, why can't you really use Bitcoin much as money? So, one of the main problems is Bitcoin kind of has this general perception of being digital gold. So, a lot of people who have Bitcoin use it as a store of value, and it's done a great job of that. So, there's still kind of this shift or general thinking that that's kind of what Bitcoin is for. But another problem with that is on the merchant side, for people who want to have Bitcoin in their business, like the value prop isn't really clear. Like, why should they have Bitcoin in their business? Why should they be accepting it? Why would people even want to spend it if like it has this digital gold perception? There's also like not mainstream adoption of Bitcoin in that way. So it's just not really like something that a lot of merchants are using, which is why you don't normally see Bitcoin as a form of payment as an option at the register. And then so also, so there are some businesses that do accept Bitcoin. If you go to BTC Map, you can find businesses like in shops in your local area that do accept Bitcoin, but it's pretty painful onboarding. Like right now, like a lot of these businesses that do accept Bitcoin, it's kind of a lot of hands-on. That Bitcoiners are very much helping these businesses to learn about it, to get onboarded. BTC Pay Server is a really popular one that is very like hardcore Bitcoiny. They're great, but like it does like require some technical chops to like integrate it into your business. So like that's not ideal either if like, there's not that many Bitcoiners. There's probably like less Bitcoiners that like want to take the time to go to their merchants. And then if it's like there's a lot of time and friction involved, that's not going to help the problem either. Kind of threefold. So the good news is we have a really big opportunity to make a difference, especially as creatives. So what is this opportunity? Well, one, we can onboard more merchants, like that's fantastic. So there's opportunity to do that. We can really create some sort of grassroots movement. So that's something that Bitcoiners generally are very good at. There's been a lot of kind of these grassroots communities that we've seen all over, either to teach people about Bitcoin, to kind of create conferences. Like all of you are here. This is kind of a grassroots effort. So there's another opportunity that for us to kind of lean into the strength. And then as designers, as creatives, we've heard a lot in these presentations already, especially from Josh, that like the Bitcoin branding that we generally know and see is maybe not the best, doesn't have the biggest like creative flair. It's not the most like incentivizing. That's something that I do on Spiral. We think about it a lot. There's just a huge opportunity to kind of bring better design, better creativity, better energy to kind of shape this culture. So we have lots of opportunities. That's good news. And like, why are we like really thinking about this right now? Like Bitcoin's been around for a while. Why are we kind of like generally like caring more about Bitcoin being money? Well, so I work on Spiral, which is part of Block. So little bit of like, caveat there is, well, one thing, so Square is launching Bitcoin payments soon. They were at the Bitcoin conference in Vegas where they had this in beta and people were buying things. So that is really good news because a lot of people use Square. And so it's like something that merchants already know or familiar with. If we can pay Bitcoin, something we know and familiar with, that's a great first step. So that's going to be huge. Launching this fall will really open up the door. There's been a lot of regulatory momentum. So on the policy side, kind of like, there's certain tax rules, kind of sucks, like, spending Bitcoin, you got to pay taxes. But there's been lots of like lobbying and policy kind of like pushes. So hopefully we see some regulatory changes, but we can kind of start thinking about this now as things improve. And then the third point is like, really like, if people are just buying Bitcoin and they're just holding it, they're not using it, like that's really not good for like the health of the network. Like to keep a healthy network, we need Bitcoin to be moving around We need people to be like sending it to each other. We need people to be like buying, spending. Of course, we want people to like, hold and protect their wealth too, but like definitely active. If everyone did that, that wouldn't be good for Bitcoin. So we got to think about that. Yeah. So kind of again, why this matters is like, if we can have like more payments, like that's proof that Bitcoin is money, which is something that sets Bitcoin aside to being unique, away from the rest of like the crypto casinos. That was like kind of one of Bitcoin's main goals and hasn't proven that. So payments are key. And then more merchants, more activity, it strengthens the ecosystem. So that's good. So the design challenge that I have and I've been thinking about, and I hope that some of you today will want to work on, is how can we make it easy and fun for Bitcoiners to help businesses accept Bitcoin? So like there still is going to be, we need kind of like this grassroots help to help get businesses to accept Bitcoin, but can it be easier for people, for Bitcoiners or anyone to help the businesses? And then can we make it a little bit more fun and incentivizing for businesses then to accept Bitcoin? Because especially with Square, like this is not going to be like an automatic thing. People are going to have to go turn it on. So we want to like encourage that. So merchant onboarding this can take a lot of forms. I'm just throwing out some ideas. I would love everyone's ideas who wants to work with me, but like, could this be like a one-stop hub, a website, an application? Do we want to make it mobile focused? Maybe it's social. I don't know. That we can kind of guide Bitcoiners to give them some templates, some messaging points. Can we kind of encourage this like grassroots kind of volunteer support sales team where they can like, I've done email outreach before. Like it's time consuming. You have to be, good with words. We want to really lower that friction. So what can we do to make it super easy? And then what can they give to merchants? Can they give them FAQ sheets? Can they give them promotional assets? How do we get merchants excited to accept Bitcoin, to make it look cool, make it look fun? Lots of like opportunities there. Just one example is like, again, kind of like off Josh's about how the current brand looks. It's not great. Like Bitcoin accepted here, like that's kind of boring. Like, does this make you excited to pay with Bitcoin? The second problem is like going a little more technical, which is like the Lightning Network, which is a way that like makes Bitcoin a bit more fast, scalable, easy to use. Great for engineers to know, fine for my team, but like, does everybody need to know what this is? Like, not really. Like, do you need to know how like credit cards work behind the scene? No. So it's not great to like promote like the technical side of how Bitcoin's used. So Lightning, not the best. Okay, these are not great, but like, could we make it more fun? Like with words, Bitcoin welcomed here, like Bitcoin please, like what kind of messaging can we come up with that kind of shifts this use of Bitcoin to be more, so it's like not as scary, maybe, and also kind of like wants you to use it. Can we come up with like fun templates for merchants to display that are kind of beyond, boring ones? But yeah, so if you join the track today in the morning, or whenever we start, we'll do lots of brainstorming to kind of think about motivations for merchants. What kind of visuals and copy can we use to think of something more fun? Like design stickers, like an onboarding kit. We'll kind of think of what like a website will be good, and then hopefully we'll vibe code something. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Haley.